All right, this is the last one, and I'm gonna tone this down. So, in the last video, I said that according to Arthur Avalon, were someone to enunciate what karma is, or what is referred to or reached for when people say karma, that would constitute a high degree of learning and understanding that would be akin to or similar to a degree of enlightenment to enunciate that. I don't make claim to be able to do that, but I have read a lot of the works of Arthur Avalon that speak to what cause and effect is. And so my understanding is that, see, I would appreciate that what's called karma is actually exactly identical to what's called energy, and that is just simple rhythm that is cyclical activity is beyond our understanding of length, width, height, and time, which are all relative to position and understanding of position and perspective. Within all that, informing that, and beyond that is a cycle, is balance, that is rhythm, that is cycle, and it's actually beyond cause and effect because it's unflinching, unrelenting, unforgiving, yet just completely potent, real. Nothing is real without good and bad. I think because you can't have anything that's not dynamic and balanced. So there might be nothing that is completely good or bad, and if it were, it wouldn't be real. So these cycles, they're imminent and they're beyond serious, and there's no stopping a cycle, because if you were to alter a cycle, the position in the standpoint of you altering it is yet a function of that cycle. So you're just making it more complicated and sophisticated, the cycle that's already played, the causes at play. But there's actually no getting past what brought us to. There's actually no. So a lot of people. I went to a dance called Sadie's when I was young, and that's where you dress just like a female invites the male, and they dress alike, and they're supposed to stay together the whole time. And if they're caught partying, going not together, one of them gets thrown in jail. So I got my ass thrown in jail while she was dancing with someone cool, and me and him were actually friends because we had respect, like playing sports together, and he respected me as an athlete. He's like, oh yeah, this is kind of whack, man. I gotta go, man. He wasn't down with that her trying to dance like that. But then where was I going with that? Um, but there's actually no getting past you. They would say stay with the one that brought you. There's no getting past what brought us to this life. So like when people get pissed off with their parents, like different stuff that your parents have done, you're actually not getting past or better or beyond your parents, because you actually are still them. You are their cause. They are the cause of you, and you are their cause also. And that's actually the beautiful back and forth that is life. And according to Morris Brooklyn, the YouTuber and scholar, was referred when people refer to the ancestors, that's largely an appropriation of African culture a lot of times. And within some of the African cultures that promulgated that, it's only referring to a small handful of paternal ancestors, one, two, three, maybe four, but maybe more so one, two, three generations back. And your ancestors, your existences on this earth, rather than a multitude of strangers, it might actually be the same one, two, or three, or one of you as one, two, and three, bringing yourself back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, swapping partners, swapping lovers, swapping mothers, like dances, like partners at a dance, like my partner that walked off for me at a Sadie's dance before. But the real you is more so of your paternal line, and it's just a few of you, or one of you a few times, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And so there's no getting past that, beyond that. And were you to do that, were you to affront or do violence to yourself, your close cognate, either a parent or sibling, that's called fratricide, or there's one for your parent. I think it's called patricide. Patricide is hurting a father. Matricide is hurting a mother. Fratricide is hurting a sibling. Um, uh, um, that is actually the greatest form of violence, because you're interfering with that beautiful back and forth relationship that has existed for eternity, it could be said. And so that's actually akin to, that's actually on par with genocide at that point, if you're doing violence to a close cognate and family member, because it is potentially as detrimental and damning as what would be akin to genocide, what you're doing there. But what I wanted to say is that um, but the so you're not getting past what brought you here, your cause, but you are getting along with your cause and with what brought you here. But it's similar with like what's called karma, is that it's just imminent cycles, cause and effect, unmitigated. Because there's no judge, there's nothing that can intervene with true cause and effect once it's at play. Because anyone that would interfere with that or engage with that, they're now within the influence and the impetus and the cause of cause. and so they're now within that cycle, and they're just making it more sophisticated and complicated, but it's going to resolve to what it came from, that is the original cause. You can maybe say, where is the universe coming from and going? I don't know, but it's likely going exactly where it started, in that it's returning to whatever caused it once that cause is spent. There's no interfering with the cause, there's only spending a cause. If anything, if anything stops, I don't know that you can stop, I don't know that even cause can stop a cause. It shall go on as a recycle and a return, par excellent, more deep and profound than when we can reach for it when we say words like eternity, because eternity would imply a beginning, middle, and end, and there may be nothing of that. So some people would say, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I would say the cause came first, but I actually don't know what could inspire a cause, sustain a cause, or complete a cause. I don't know that, so I can't actually articulate what karma is from that standpoint. All I know is that you have imminent cause and effect, that is cycles at play, and there may be no stopping it. There can be only transcending and exiting it gracefully if we are blessed, and that would attain humility, mercy, and forgiveness to exit and or transcend, transmute a cycle into something different and better. That might be the real task of what. Why are we here? It may be to improve upon, exit, or begin a new cycle, and what that would take might be what we're here for. Some people have referenced that as far as the difficulty of exiting family dynamics, and that it's not child's play when you have troubling family dynamics, because these are deep entrenched cycles that go beyond a present lifetime or a single lifetime, as that's appreciated generally. And so that's actually what's at play with some of the things that we're undergoing. But so I just want to say, having grace and doing the best we can is the only hope that being humble and doing the best we can is the only hope we have of exiting, that is transcending and beginning new, better cycles. Um, but and so as soon as you introduce good and bad, you have now judgment, and you have taken license. Whether you've been granted a license, that is like authority, or anointing, like for a purpose, um, it still requires license to cast judgment, because judgment affects other people and ourselves, and so that would require license. But a lot of people take license when they affix clinical terms to friends and loved ones, and or when they take religious judgment upon friends and loved ones outside of true humility in being subject to a religious oversight, to simply make religious statements about another person outside of authority in the bounds of a religious background or tradition. If you're coming from that standpoint, that would take you'd have to be submitted to a religious body to make that statement righteously. And so were you to be like living under your family's household and making statements about your family from a religious standpoint, you would be outside of honor and grace, being under their household and speaking out against them if you didn't absolutely have to, um, or simply disrespecting our parents would be equally egregious in religious standpoint, according to people like Tashrik Bey, that said that honor thy father and mother, that thy day shall be long on the earth realm. Were you to do so in the clinical sense, you would be egregious for taking license that you haven't earned and been granted by some kind of oversight body that is checked and reviewed. So we really shouldn't be casting judgment on anyone or any point at any time, whether from a clinical or religious standpoint or even personal standpoint. Judgment's not cool, but we do have to do better, and we have to improve, all of us, and we have to have grace to exit these cycles. So that's what I was going to say. And some people might say, like, so if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? I would say, is the tree different than the forest? And is the tree awake or asleep? And is the forest awake or asleep? Truly, that might speak to, does the tree make a sound? And are we awake while dreaming? And are we dreaming while awake? And are we awake when alive, asleep when alive, awake when transitioning, or asleep when transitioning? Might speak to the question of, does a tree make a sound if it falls in the woods and there's no one to hear it?